In this video, you will discover what to do when he ignores you. Hi, I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man Method. And hey, why don't you push that subscribe button so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. Also, if you haven't done so already, take our free Magnetize Your Man quiz so you get more personalized dating and love strategy just for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 5, resist the urge to text him. I know, and this is actually particularly tempting because there's like numerous YouTube videos and channels out there that are just all about like text him this and he comes crawling back and so on and so on. But actually, like the opposite is true, right? As a matter of fact, my husband just did another video on why actually having some distance to a man can sometimes be actually really helpful, right? So if a man ignores you, so think about it this way, this can be for many different reasons. This can be for one, he wants to have space. So he feels like, okay, we have a lot of connection, we move towards each other. So there's a lot of like, sort of like couple identity, if you will. But there's not a lot of individual identity, right? So it could be just like, hey, I just need to come back into my own balance, right? So the worst thing that you can do is text him and then create more connection, right? Again, his dopamine levels drop, and I know your oxytocin levels rise because you want to actually connect, right? So when we connect, that oxytocin rises, but the dopamine for the man unfortunately drops. So he needs to feel like a man again. He needs to go out with his buddies. He needs to compete, do some sports, do something that's more in the masculine and competitive realm versus in that collaborative connecting realm, right? So this is the first reason why you don't want to text him, right? Another reason why you don't want to text him is also, well, think about it this way, where it's really saying, hey, okay, so you're basically telling him, hey, if you're not texting me, I'm not doing well, right? So you're basically telling him, hey, I'm kind of codependent, right? You are the source of my happiness. Versus actually saying, hey, wait a minute, you know what I mean? I'm doing quite okay. And then the third reason why you don't want to ever text him, this is so huge when he ignores you, is because you don't want to tell him that that's like okay to ignore you and that you're still going to accept that. And not only that, but you actually want to connect him with him more. Because girlfriend, you're handing him a resume. You're basically saying, hey, ignore me again. And it doesn't really have any consequences. You know what I mean? Like you can just like, you know what I mean? You could just like check out occasionally and I'll actually pursue you more, right? But that's a surefire that he is going to continue this pattern and it's going to lead to more disappointment. So ignore the urge to text him. Number 4 is scream into a pillow. Now, here's what happens, especially if you're more in a fearful, avoidant, anxious realm, okay, is that actually you're going to feel high levels of anxiety and aggravation in your system when he ignores you. Why is that? Well, it mirrors back all the times when your mom, your dad, whoever your primary caregiver was actually ignoring you as a baby, when you didn't get the milk, when you didn't get the attention, when you weren't told, I love you, good job, right? I appreciate you, right? You're welcome into this world, whatever it is. So every time there's this mirror neurons that remember, right? And so what happens is the system gets really heated up and gets really wailed up. And so then what we want to do, we want to release it. And we think we're going to release it by reaching out. But what you actually want to do instead is releasing it through your voice, through your body. So scream into a pillow, kick and scream, throw a temper tantrum so you can move the energy fully through your system and you can actually feel clear and like confident in your head again, right? Versus actually running on your fight and flight mechanisms and making the worst mistakes possible. When we're in a fight or flight situation, we delete, we distort, we generalize reality. We're not able to see beyond our glasses of self-deception, right? So that's why you want to scream into a pillow first. You want to acknowledge in your body on a physical level and through your voice first, like that aggravation and that anxiety that's in your system. Number 3 is call or check in with a girlfriend. And here's why, right? So, I'm not a huge fan of distractions, as you've been following me on my channel. But in this particular case, it can sometimes feel like you want to fill the hole. You want to fill that gap, right? That loneliness. And so sometimes it's actually helpful to bring in a placeholder. Okay, so like that can be a girlfriend, a neighbor, a coworker, but somebody you can connect with, and you can actually build up that oxytocin level. Because you want to actually feel high levels of oxytocin because it makes you feel good. It feels pleasurable. It tells you that bonding is safe. So it also communicates to your system, to your nervous system, hey, bonding is safe. Yeah, connecting to other people is still safe, right? And then, of course, the other reason why is because girlfriends are great distractions. Maybe she has a story to tell you. And also, she may actually have some perspective that you, of course, don't have, because we're all narrow-minded, right? We're processing 2 billion of bits of information on an unconscious, 2 billion of bits of information per second, and only 134 on a conscious level. So the rest, like almost 2 billion, are going actually in the unconscious, right? So girlfriends can sometimes help to uncover more of all those blind spots as well. Number 2 is relaxing into your feminine. Now, I know what you want to say, Antia. I've watched so many videos on the channel on the feminine, how to relax into the feminine, right? So let me actually tell you what I mean by that. This is actually sort of like kind of a little bit the opposite of reaching out to a girlfriend. So this is a different version, because that's actually saying, okay, he's ignoring me right now. Maybe he's ghosting you right now, right? He's just kind of zombieing you right now, whatever he's doing, although zombie's when he comes back. So what oftentimes happens is, because that deep level of anxiety is triggering us to such a level that we want to go into a coping mechanism, right? And so what I'm actually saying is, no, you don't want to go into a coping mechanism. You don't want to eat a bag of pretzels or popcorn or ice cream, right? Ice cream is like the favorite of most women. But instead, you want to actually say, no, I actually want to really feel that level of embarrassment or the level of shame. I don't want to use shame shields inside of myself, so I can actually learn to reconnect to myself. Because the truth is, we're just connecting to ourselves in the pleasurable feelings. But when the more vulnerable feelings come around, such as shame, embarrassment, not feeling good enough, replaceable, things like that, inconsiderate, or all those insecure feelings, we're actually saying, nah, that's not me. No, I don't want to connect with that, right? So you do want to connect with that. It's really important because it makes you more emotionally available. And by the way, chances are that when you're more emotionally available, the man that you're seeing also becomes more emotionally available, because he knows that he's safe to show up with all of his emotions. And there's actually chances that he will reach back out. And lastly, number 1, meet more men. And I know what you want to say, obviously, duh. Okay. But here's actually a couple different reasons for that. And I would say actually do the meet more men after you relax into your feminine, because then you actually reconnected to who you authentically are. And you have a much better chance to actually attract a man into your life who is actually also just as authentic with you. Now, another reason why you want to meet more men is because you go for shopping for attributes, I call it, right? So you actually see, okay, so Joe, who's like constantly ignoring you, or is like currently ignoring you, right? Like he may have some great attributes, but not all attributes are great. So you actually have more perspective. You gain more perspective. You see how you want to be treated, and you allow also your nervous system, right? Your emotional system, your mental system to get used to men who treat you well. And then lastly, and this is actually the most important, is you teaching your system that there is abundance. Now, what happens, particularly if you're fearful avoidant, an anxious attachment style, right, is what ends up happening is you focus more on the scarcity, feeling not good enough, not having enough, because that was your experience. Either your mom didn't have enough capacities and resources inside of herself to take care of you, right? Or there was just not enough, right? Not enough time, not enough love, not enough food. So there's the scarcity theme. So what you want to do in order to move out of that anxious working model in that moment is actually focusing on the abundance of things, right? That moves you much more, the resourcefulness of things, that moves you much more towards a secure attachment style. So meet more men. If you like this video, then I invite you to watch our free playlist course on how to get a guy to chase you. For that, click that link below. This is it for today, ladies. Don't forget to stay fabulous. Talk to you next time. Mwah!